Welcome to the lesson on creating your first C# console application. In this lesson, you will learn how to build and run a simple console application while exploring the basic structure of a C# program. By the end of this lesson, you will have a foundational understanding of how C# applications work, as well as hands-on experience in developing your first application. Don't worry if this feels new at first. This section covers understanding the basics of C#. C#, pronounced C#, is a versatile programming language developed by Microsoft that's widely used for developing Windows applications, web services, and much more. It's an object-oriented language, which means it's based on the concept of objects that can contain both data and methods. Before we dive into writing code, let's familiarize ourselves with some essential components of a C# program. First, namespaces. These are used to organize code and avoid naming conflicts. They're declared with the namespace keyword. Also, classes. A class is a blueprint for creating objects. Classes contain methods and properties. They're defined using the class keyword. Finally, main method. Every C# console application must have a main method, which is the entry point where the program starts executing. Now, setting up your development environment. To write and run C# code, you will need a development environment. One of the most popular IDEs, integrated development environments, for C# is Visual Studio. You can download it from the official Microsoft website. After installing Visual Studio, follow these steps to create your first C# console application. First, open Visual Studio. Next, select Create a new project. Then, choose the Console App.NET Core template. Then click Next. Finally, enter a project name, e.g. Hello World, and click Create. Let's move on to writing your first C# program. Now that you have your project set up, it's time to write your first C# program. In the program.cs file, you will see a default structure. Modify it to look like this. Review the class shown on screen and how its members are organized. Let's break down the code. You'll see a few items listed here. First, using system. This line imports the system namespace, which contains fundamental classes and base classes that define commonly used value and reference data types. Next, namespace Hello World. This declares a namespace named Hello World. Also, this defines a class named Program. Take a moment to read the rest on screen. Running your application, let's dig in. To run your application, follow these steps. First, click on the Start button or press F5 in Visual Studio. Finally, your program will compile, and a console window will open displaying the message, Hello World. Congratulations! You have successfully created and run your first C# console application. In this lesson, you learned the basic structure of a C# program, set up your development environment, wrote your first C# console application, and ran it successfully. You should now have a foundational understanding of how C# applications are structured and executed. Now put what you've learned into practice. Now that you have a grasp of the basics, here are some exercises to reinforce your learning. First, modify the program to print your name instead of Hello World. Also, add another line of code to print your favorite programming language. Also, experiment with changing the text color in the console using console.foreground color. Finally, write a simple program that asks for user input and displays it back to them. By completing these exercises, you will strengthen your understanding of the concepts introduced in this lesson. Happy coding!